In lesson 4.4, we're going to be talking about how to multiply fractions and multiply mixed numbers. They don't separate it this time. And you'll find that everything we learned about adding and subtracting is completely different with multiplying. I think that's why some people have trouble with these fractions. But let's give it a try. We're going to do our best. So how do we multiply fractions? Number one, never find a common denominator. Exactly the opposite of adding and subtracting. Adding and subtracting, that was rule number one. You must find a common denominator. Here we don't want to. Again, it's not like it would totally make your problem wrong, but you are creating so much extra work for yourself if you do. So just don't find common denominators. Cancel whenever possible. I'm going to show you what that looks like toward the end of the lesson here. But basically that just means that you can reduce any denominator and any numerator at a time. Any common factor that a numerator and a denominator have, they can be reduced. This is something that I expect to see you do. 6th grade is a place where that is, it's a requirement really. You need to talk to me if it's something that you don't understand. You always multiply straight across both the numerator and the denominator. Again, that's completely different from adding and subtracting because denominators don't change in adding and subtracting. Here they will. And finally, this is the same, reduce and rename when necessary. Now, how does that change with mixed numbers? Always change your mixed numbers to whole numbers. To whole numbers and mixed numbers to improper fractions. Again, completely the opposite as when we added or subtracted. And remember that if you have a whole number without a fraction with it, that whole number would be like the number over 1. Again, we're going to multiply the resulting fractions using the rules we just talked about. So let's see what that looks like. Let's say that we had, let's just look at fractions first. 1/2 times 4/5. All right, now, when it comes to canceling, that was one of the things I just talked about on the slide. You want to cancel whenever possible. Now, you'll notice that 1/2 is in its simplest form. 4/5 is in its simplest form. But the cool thing about this is that they don't have to be on top of each other. Any numerator can cancel places with any denominator. You'll notice that this numerator and this denominator have a common factor of 2. So I can reduce them. If I divide 2 by 2, I get 1. If I divide 4 by 2, I get 2. So now I've reduced 4/2 to 2/1. And that is perfectly fine. Pretty cool. And you can do that as many times as possible until there is nothing left that has common factors. Obviously, they all have the common factor of 1, but that's not going to help us. So now we multiply straight across. 1 times 2 is 2. And 1 times 5 is 5. So my answer for 1/2 times 4/5 is 2/5. Okay, now let's look at mixed numbers. Let's say that we had 2 1/3 times 2 1/4. Actually, let's make it 2/4. Yeah, let's just do that. Okay, so the first step we want to do is actually change them into improper fractions. Remember, we multiply the denominator times the whole number and then add the numerator. Our denominator won't change when we write it, so we're still going to have something that's thirds, and we're still going to have something that's fourths. Okay? So 3 times 2 is 6, 1 more is 7. 2 times 4 is 8, and 2 more is 10. Now, just like up above, our next step is to look for anything that might be reducible. Here there's nothing. So there might be times when there's nothing you can cancel. 7 has no common factors with 3 or with 4. 10 has, except for 1, and again 1 isn't helpful. 10 has no common factors with 3. Oh, it does, doesn't it, with 4? So we can reduce that or cancel it. 10 and 4 can each be reduced by dividing by 2, correct? So if we divide 10 by 2, we get 5. If we divide 4 by 2, we get 2. And now we can multiply. I didn't even catch that. So now we multiply straight across. 7 times 5, 35. 3 times 2, 6. Now we have to rename it. So we have to make it back into a mixed number. How many 6's are in 35? 5. With how many left over? 5. That's correct. Good. 5 times 6 is 30. So there'd be 5 left over. Our denominator doesn't change there. That is how you multiply fractions and mixed numbers. So throw those rules out from adding and subtracting. Don't try to use those when we're multiplying. Good luck.